He sits on the Judiciary Oversight and Government Reform Committees. Congressman, thank you so much for being here with us. That's the big question here. We had this budget plan. It made it out of committee. $4.5 trillion in tax cuts, $2 trillion in spending cuts. We've already heard Republicans on both sides, moderate and conservative. They have concerns over this, and I'm wondering, given those concerns, where are we on this? Are you confident that you guys are going to be able to pass this in the next month?
Yeah, I think we are. I know there's some push me, pull you going back and forth. That's normal. Look, I'd like to see more cuts put in place, but I also want to see the agenda get through that the mandate the American public gave us. So when we start talking about 4.5 and 2 trillion and 2 trillion in cuts, that sounds like a lot. But when you look at over that same 10-year period, we're scheduled probably to spend about $26 trillion. It becomes a fairly modest reduction. But if your question is, are we going to fund the border? Absolutely, we're going to fund that border.
$175 billion proposal to fund the border over 10 years. My understanding is that the government has spent about $20 billion a year on border security. This is going to raise that, almost double that. Can you explain to the folks at home why we need to be raising this, why we need to be spending this much on the border right now, given the fact that Republicans are also talking about needing spending cuts?
Yeah, so what we're doing is, first of all, this is a national security issue, so we need to fund that. Second aspect of it is we have to finish all of the infrastructure that needs to go into place. So we're talking about fences, we're talking about drone technology, we're talking about sensors, all of that the Biden administration actually had funding for and chose not to spend. So we have to catch back up. But the other part that makes this really expensive is that the Biden administration let in anywhere from 12 to 20 million people, depending on who's calculating. And so as the deportation process goes on to remove these folks who are illegally in the country, you have to have a place to put them. You have to have a place for due process. You have to have the vehicles to fly them home on. You got to get the seats, and not only that, we're actually under the Biden administration, they didn't give enough money. They never dedicated all the money that was given to them to do things like buy trucks. So you have trucks with 250,000 miles on them that can't go anywhere, and you've got agents that are left trying to deal with that every day as well. So we have to get the resources back, the infrastructure put together.
Congressman, where are these cuts going to come from? Are we talking about cuts in SNAP benefits, food, Medicaid? Can you level with our viewers as to what benefits are going to be cut here as part of this $2 trillion, if that's where the number stays?
Yeah, what happens is the way this works is every committee, about 5 committees, are charged with making reductions in their jurisdictional areas. So when you talk about certain things, we're talking about you could get $680, $750 billion, right in that range, by just getting rid of the Inflation Reduction Act subsidies and business that they've done there. So that takes care of actually a significant portion of it. So that goes there. There's also, you could put a tax on remittances that are going overseas. So right now, you would get that's $25 billion over a 10-year period. So there's a whole host of things. Will it deal with saying, look, we're going to even Medicaid payments? That I don't know if that's in the mix, because there's so many things in the mix. I actually went through and offered up a series of reductions as well, but mine are focusing on things like right-sizing the fees to come into the country. So there's a whole lot of discussion going on how to get there.
And you're feeling confident, even though Republicans can only afford to lose one vote, I guess, quickly here, Congressman.
Yes, I am. I'm hopeful. I'm
All
hopeful.
right. All right, we shall see. Well, Congressman Andy Biggs, thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday.
My pleasure. Thank you.